Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about the top 5 problems I've had with the Nintendo Switch since I've received it. Now I've been playing with it, I'm excited about it, I'm actually still excited about the system, but there are some issues that you need to be aware of before you make that $300 investment, well $300 plus investment on a Nintendo Switch and some games and accessories. This is TK, let's go ahead and talk about the issues that I've been having. The first problem I want to talk to you guys about is the lack of Bluetooth connectivity to audio playback. So meaning if we go into the settings tab, we go under airplane mode, we notice that there is a controller section. We do have Bluetooth connectivity. There is a Bluetooth radio built into this unit. And one thing we don't have on this is the ability to pair Bluetooth headphones. We are limited to use the 3.5mm headphone jack or the built-in speakers to be able to enjoy our content. This is great if all you wanted to do is play with it handheld. Once you use one of the functionalities of the system, which is the ability to go, removing the Joy-Cons, we'll just click OK, using the flimsy kickstand, and putting the actual system at a distance, and let's say you're using it, you're sitting in a car, you want to just basically play by yourself, you don't have the ability of listening to it, and if your wire is not long enough, everybody in the car is going to be listening to the same thing. Having the radio built into the actual unit is something that they should have just basically given us access to. Now hopefully this could be fixed in the future with an additional update, but at this point it's not available, and I find that this is something that they should have really put in. The next issue that a lot of people have actually voiced, not only on Twitter, but even myself, I'm really concerned about this, is the fact that the dock that we get with the Switch is pretty much a all plastic dock, which is something that you'd expect. But if you look into the inserts in here, you'll notice the dock right there by default has this little kind of like a raised insert next to the casing so that it makes sure that the actual Switch unit stays correct. Well, this actual entire piece is plastic, and over time this is going to start scratching your screen. In fact, a lot of people have actually started reporting some of these issues, and you only find a little bit of like a plastic nub right there sitting. The design is purely made, and really over time this is going to be scratching your screen, so you're definitely going to need to pick up a screen protector to be able to just use this dock. This is again the standard dock. At this point, the one that comes in the box might not be the best option, and I really wish Nintendo would have thought about this. At least put some kind of soft rubbering or some kind of a soft casing here. Let me bring you back to focus here. And that would have fixed most of the problems. One of the other things as far as connections here, what we have is the ability to connect to the internet using Wi-Fi, which is pretty much the only connection that you have. The dock doesn't give us any other options. There's no LAN or Ethernet or options like that. But let's say you go to a place where you need to authenticate to be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. And I was trying this yesterday because I wasn't home and I wanted to connect and I wanted to see if I can buy another game. But what happened for me is that it ended up being stuck at this position. It gets an IP address from the server, but because the authentication needs to go through a browser, which doesn't exist on this unit, it doesn't go through any further. So connectivity, and those are issues that you need to be aware of. If you're trying to connect to a web-enabled authentication system, you're not going to be able to go through at this point unless it's an open network or something that you have an ability of putting in just a normal PIN code to. It's going to work fine. But if you need a web authentication, this is going to be an issue. So you need to be aware of that problem as well. Next is one of the big problems that actually was confirmed not that long ago, a couple of days ago, by Nintendo. And that's the fact that what we have here essentially is localized saved data, which means if you, let's say something's wrong with your Nintendo Switch and you have to replace it, you're getting a replacement warranty one, you lose all the saved data. Now this isn't a big problem for where we are right now, mostly because of the fact of what time it is. It just got released, not that many people have it. You shouldn't have too many things already saved on it. But let's say you've had this for some time, you have different profiles, you're playing games, all of that saved data is saved locally on the unit itself. If you go under data management, you'll notice that there's free space system memory. We have a 32 gig model, about 25 gigs or so, 24 gigabytes of space left. And you notice that the saved data is saved directly in here. I have the, the fast, this is RMX and the Legend of Zelda Switch. And it tells you how much space it's being used. I cannot transfer that data over. So archive software, delete software, check for corrupt data, doesn't give me the ability of transitioning it, which means if once I have to replace this, and let's say I give this or sell it away, I lose all my saved data, and there's no cloud backup, there's no ability of saving it to SD card. So it's really sad to see that they're really not putting in any kind of backup option to be able to transfer your data from one game system to the other. It's very frustrating also because sometimes you also have only downloadable content, which means in this situation for the Fast RMX game, I don't have a cartridge, so I am going to lose all the saved data onto this once I'm done with this game, which is really sad. The last thing I want to talk to you guys is, again, back into the design. We kind of talked already about the fact that the screen's going to get scratched if we don't put some kind of protection on it from its own dock. But it's the lack of reasonable or even realistic, This is by far the most flimsy kickstand I've ever seen. It's really scaring me whenever I use it. I mean, I put it down and I try to release it, and I always worry that I'm going to put too much pressure on it here when I'm releasing the Joy-Cons, because that's how it's advertised it's supposed to work. And at some point or another, I feel like these things are going to break, and a lot of people are going to have problems. Also, a lot of people I've seen some people post pictures where they forgot to close the Joy-Con, and then they're putting it back in the dock, and you end up going in there, and that could just basically break it up right away. It's just too flimsy, and I wish they would have had the same construction material. I mean, this is actually a pretty solid game system. Very, very good. The Joy-Cons connect very well. They have a very nice click sound. The mechanism is strong. You don't feel like this is going to fall apart. But this piece feels like it's just going to fall off by itself. And the sound that it makes just makes me, oh my God, just not the right thing. The issues that I'm sharing with you are based on usage, based on things that I'm really concerned about with this system. It's still a very exciting system with the limited amount of games right now. Zelda's been really good for me, and I've also been playing 1-2 Switch. It's a really nice system. I think they really kind of cornered the market of portability, be able to dock the actual unit, play it on the TV, walk away with it, and keep playing the same game without missing a beat. Now, of course, we go from 720p to 1080p as far as the display, and there's been some reports of dropped frames whenever you're in there, but I think those things could be fixed with software. I think some of the problems that I shared with you today could be fixed with software. The Bluetooth connectivity thing, I think it just needs to be an update. The ability to transfer data, which makes no sense to me, why they would make a decision to say, no, keep it in the system that it's on, and then you cannot transfer it. I think they could fix that in the future with a software update. So those are some things that you can definitely do. The scratchability of the screen with a dock, the fact that the kickstand is something that just needs to be replaced, is just definitely a big problem. I think when this thing breaks, I'm not sure how they're going to deal with it. They may just basically put it on user error, but the fact is it's poorly constructed by comparison to the rest of the system. So let me know what you think. If you guys have an actual Switch, have you played with it? What are your thoughts on some of these concerns? These are some things that just pop out to me from playing with it within a few days. So if there's any additional problems, major issues, I'll try to make a follow-up video to this and let you guys know. Other than that, thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.